Good morning. How are we all today? Hope we're all doing well. We're back at it again, back in the bus today. I do love the Airbus. I said it before, but it's kind of like a favourite t-shirt. The Boeing definitely keeps us on our toes. There's something nice about the Airbus. You kind of feel like, almost like you're going to get a nice easy day in the Airbus, whereas the Boeing, you never quite know. It's like, oof, there's a wind. Could be interesting. I mean, that being said, winds can challenge us in this Airbus too, of course, but something about this Airbus that I like a lot. Hey, morning, Ashy. How you doing? So we're hoping to do a return service today. We're doing Stockholm to Bergen and then back to Stockholm. Currently we're in Stockholm. It's about an hour each way, so hopefully we'll have time. Alright, let's get inside and look at getting things fired up, shall we? Because we are cold and dark. So, first things first, battery 1 on, battery 2 on, external power is available, so we'll take it. Let's fire up the EFB. Oh, outdated aircraft version. I forgot to update the plane. That's silly of me. Wonder what they've changed. Okay, let's import SimBrief data. So I've got my SimBrief plan already made. So click this and it will phone home to grab it for us. That's looking good. If we go to services, I'm interested to see what this jet bridge does, because look, quite an unusual looking jet bridge. Certainly one that I've not seen before. I'm wondering if this is one of the handcrafted airports. It must be. Let's see if it does something. I get the feeling it might not do anything. Yeah, that's not doing a thing, is it? How strange. Okay, so we'll forget about that. Let's do baggage and catering. I'm guessing that'll work. That being said, it doesn't look like there's a lot going on. Okay, so maybe ground services are just not going to happen here. Oh, don't say that, Ashy. Seems okay for me. I'm getting no warnings this end, to put it that way. So it's not me this time. Yeah, YouTube's not reporting anything. My OBS isn't reporting anything. I figured out what the problem was anyway. On Monday. We figured it out. That was driving me crazy. That was not fun. Okay, so given that we don't have ground services, let's just pretend that we do. Let's fuel the plane. How many have we got on board today? We download the payload. Okay, a few empty seats. It's okay though. No, I don't have GSX. I nearly bought it yesterday. I was sat on my laptop ready to buy it. And then the kids started like kicking off. So I had to go and be like, right, what's going on? And sort all that out. And then I was like, oh. Properly forgot all about it. Alright, so let's get the APU master on. And then APU start. And we're waiting for this one to say available. Meantime, we can do navs 1, 2, 3. And we can get the fuel pumps on. Emergency lights, no smoking, nav and logo, oxygen for the crew. Yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard good things. I do need to get it. I also need to get myself a Navigraph subscription as well. Alright, so we're waiting for this button down here to say available. There it is. And we can turn on our APU bleed. Good. Alright, what is local pressure? Whoops. 1006. Okay, so the wind in Bergen's looking quite good. Only 3 knots. So nothing really to worry about there. Wind here is a little bit more. 250 and 12. That shouldn't be an issue on the takeoff at least. Coming into land, hopefully we'll get runway 26 to come into land, then that's only a 10-degree difference. So more of a headwind than a crosswind, we hope. Anyway, 1006. No, KW, I don't. Hey George, cool. Is that in the sim or IRL? Right, let's get these screens brightened up. It's all rather dim, isn't it? So click bright and hold it down. We'll do the same over here.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to see final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
In the sim. Nice. Well, I wish you a happy landing. Oh, you got the Phoenix the other day. Cool. I'll be honest, I've been hearing mixed reports about it. And given how good the fly-by-wire is and how cheap it is, I'm kind of like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll see what happens with version 2. Because that's coming soon, isn't it? So I'm told. Good to see my FPS is lagging. That isn't the stream, that is actually my frames per second. Let's see. Limited by GPU. Why is my GPU so upset? Ran out of RAM by the look of it. Gah. Well, hopefully that will resolve itself shortly. Maybe this airport's a bit much. Okay, init data request. Version 2 of the Phoenix. There's going to be a new Phoenix coming out. Just talking to people, you kind of hear on the grapevine like, oh, there's this problem, there's that problem, I had this weird issue last night, there's that weird thing. And when I hear enough of those, I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't really want to spend like 50 quid or whatever it is. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe I should give it a go and actually make my own mind up. But ultimately, dropping £50 on an aircraft is a lot. So it's not something I would do lightly. Okay, 0 fuel weight. Minus 52 is the flex temp. So we'll pop that in there. We'll do a flaps one for takeoff. And let's sort out our speeds. So V1 is 130. VR 131. And 135 V2. Good. That's looking good. So, sort out our flight plan. So coming out of Stockholm, we're going to use, I think it's runway 26. Yeah, it is runway 26. And we're going to use the Rs 3K. And then coming into Bergen. ILS 35. And the star is, there it is, Pisu 3P. I'd love to know how all these get their names. Obviously not being from the area, I've got no idea like what sort of local relevance any of these have. But occasionally you can kind of figure it out. Okay, we're going to come via Goddard. Sorry, just consulting a chart there. Oh man, my frames are still bad. Apologies. Okay, let's put the constraints on. And we will click through. So, out of Stockholm, bear around to the right slightly. Clear this discontinuity. Got R's, then Bedler. Keeping on going. Here we go. So we need to be at flight level 80. Then between 80 and 65, 220 knots. Keeping on, that's looking good. And then around onto final. Good. We have a flight plan. Hoping that my frames are going to sort themselves out very soon. Usually it's kind of like once you start moving and it kind of unloads a load. Whoops, a daisy. I didn't mean to click that. Ignore that. It's fine. Okay, so we've got no altitude constraints. We're going straight to level 380. We might as well put that in the window. Okay, so looking up here then, we're going to start thinking about a pushback. So we're going to do beacon on, strobe to
Flight attendants, armed doors,
auto,
cross-check.
seatbelt lights on. How are the frames doing? Let's check in on the frames a minute. Curious to see what's limiting it now, because sometimes it goes from GPU to CPU. My goodness, yeah, that GPU is not happy, is it?
Your
14 frames a second, seriously.
life vest is in a pouch under your seat and expressed by the crew care of the pouch with the vest is over your head.
Right, let's see if we can plan our pushback. So if we pre-plan it. There we go. Let's request pushback.
If there is a change in cabin pressure for oxygen mask will drop from overhead. Firmly pull the mask towards your starting flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth, pull the elastic band around your head, and tighten the straps on both sides. Even though the bags are down weight, oxygen will be flowing. Be sure to put your mask on first before helping others. I will let you know when it's no longer needed.
And away we go.
Before you pass through the cabin to make sure you're ready for departure, you can help us by making sure your seatbelt is fastened. Your seat back is upright, your tray table is stowed, and all carry items are put away. If you have any questions about the safety features of this aircraft, please don't hesitate to ask. Smoking, food, use electronic cigarettes is never allowed on any flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors and access restrooms is a federal offense and could result in a fine. For your convenience, this aircraft has 3 restrooms, one in the front of the cabin and 2 in the back, and each is equipped with an infant changing table. We'll be adjusting the main cabin lights for departure. If you need it, there is a reading light above your seat. We're here to make sure you have a safe and comfortable flight. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoyed the experience.
There we have it, that's 2 engine starts. Parking brake on. Flaps are set to 1. We'll set auto brakes to max in case of any problems. Predictive wind shear on. Lock the doors. Arm the speed brakes. Just checking the engines down here. Good. Let's get the engine selector back into normal. Alright, let's just check in with the cabin crew. Alright, great. Alright, let's get the yoke cam on. And pop our taxi light on. And hopefully our frames will sort themselves out shortly. Because if they don't, then I'm going to have to start looking for PC parts again, and I don't want to do that. It's always a very expensive endeavour. Okay, so we're going to make a right turn here. Ah, these frames are so bad. So I think this is a heavily handcrafted airport, and the RAM budget is just massively exceeding what I have available. I'm tempted just to quickly pop into the menu, in fact. Maybe just dial down some settings. Let's go from... Just go to ultra to high. See if that makes any difference whatsoever. Of course it may not. It's worth a go. Feels a bit better. Only a bit though. It's a highly detailed airport though, isn't it? It's just weird that like none of the jetways work, ground services weren't there. It doesn't look like one that Asobo's done. It's almost like maybe they paid someone else to do it and included it in a world update or something. Frames are seeming much better now. At least that's how they feel. Yeah, almost at 30. GPU is significantly less stressed out. So I've got it locked to 30. If you're wondering why 30 doesn't seem much, that actually 30 is. If I'm seeing 30, that's all I need really. When it goes below that, I start to get a bit not cool. Then it would make sense because we're away from that big main terminal now. Appreciate you all being here though this morning. Still, I must admit, I still do find it very weird that anyone turns up at all. We've only been doing this a year. At the same time, it's only been a year, but at the same time, it's like, wow, it's been a year. Is that armed? Yes, it is. Whoops, wrong way. Do not look down when you're taxiing, is the lesson there. Yeah, I mean, originally I just started this channel as just somewhere to upload sort of my landing videos just for a bit of a laugh, really. Someone almost dared me to do it. So I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, I'll put it on YouTube. Might be funny. And then people started watching and people started commenting. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do another one. And then you do another one and another one and another one, and then it suddenly dawned on me. I was like, I've got nearly like 400 subs. Maybe I could live stream to those 400 people. So I did a live stream, and then people started showing up. It's very strange. It was interesting seeing how YouTube behaved at the start, though. Like this time last year, the numbers I was getting was insane. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so good. 20, 30, 40 viewers at a time. I was like, I've made it, I've hit the jackpot. And then I looked at the average view duration, and it was like, I don't know, 42 seconds. Which is basically someone sticking their head in, looking at what it is for 30 seconds, being like, what's this? And then turning it off. Then over time, my numbers started to drop. Instead of the 20, 30, 40s that I became used to, all of a sudden it was 10, 7, maybe 8, maybe 6, maybe 4, maybe 2. But those people were sticking around. So it's almost like YouTube had to sift through all the people it potentially thought might be interested and see who was actually interested. Jaleese, good morning. You're right on time. We're just about to get going. We've had horrific frames, FPS issues this morning, because of course we have. It wouldn't be an Air Not stream without FPS issues now, would it? Okie dokie. Let's get some lights on, shall we? We'll turn off our APU. Should have done that earlier, really. Strobes. Takeoff config is normal. Good. Let's go and line up. Get ourselves over to Bergen. Should be about an hour. Hello, Charles. Good morning to you. So we're going to zoom right past that terminal again, aren't we? That caused us all those FPS issues. So possible that we might get some judders on the way up, but we'll just have to deal with those. I also need to sort these buttons out. Still haven't done that. got these, I don't know if you can see them. They are sort of the opposite buttons for my joystick, because at the moment I'm flying left-handed, and I've got the right-handed autopilot buttons and stuff, so I need to get the screwdriver out after this, really. Okay, let's bring the throttles 40%. Holding it on the brakes. Let's get out of here. A little bit of right rudder required, but nothing too much. And let's rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Okay, we've got a little right turn coming up. Haha, I didn't do the TCAS, did I? Levers into climb. Okay, let's clear that. Autopilot on. Yeah, that's cleared nicely. Let's disarm the ground spoilers. Flaps up. Just see the airport there in the background. Sorry chat, I can see there's a few messages going on. Let me just make sure all my ducks are in a row here, and then I will be right back to you. Standard pressure. Oh man, my coffee's gone cold as well. Still, the clouds look very nice. Did I try to stream on Twitch? No, I did not. Well, I say no, I didn't. Aside from Flight Sim, I play quite a lot of FPS games like Halo, Call of Duty, Valorant, CSGO. I did stream a bit of Halo to Twitch at one point. But I don't know, the more time goes on, I don't see any reason why you would stream to Twitch anymore. Doesn't seem like it's quite the powerhouse it once was. I used to love the culture of Twitch. Had a very cool culture. Like streamery, gamery kind of culture. Not quite sure that's the best fit for Flight Sim, if I'm being honest. Alright, let's get lights off. Okay, we've done the hard bit. First 10,000 feet. The only reason I can see for staying on Twitch is if you've already built an audience there and you've got kind of subscriptions going on and you know you're making money, and that's a reason to stay. Right? It doesn't matter like what the new coolness is, whether it's Kick, whether it's YouTube, whether it's something else. I mean, like Mixer was one thing, wasn't it? Microsoft's version of Twitch. I think there's always going to be that kind of trying to dethrone Twitch. Doesn't really matter what kind of period of time you're in. It was either Mixer or it was, hey, why don't we all go to YouTube? And now, of course, it's Kick. So for me, YouTube makes the most sense because I can post my shorts, I can make actual videos, and then I can stream to that audience directly, rather than being like making a video about graphic settings, for example, or flight sim, and then being like, oh, and by the way, I'm on Twitch. Go over there and find me on Twitch, because a very small proportion of people will actually do that. Whereas if you just happen to be live on YouTube, then probability is people that watch your prior videos might see you. So yeah, if you've already got a fan base over there and you're making decent money, then yeah, sure, why wouldn't you stay? But starting from scratch, I'm not sure it's where I would lay the foundations, put it that way. Hey, morning, Rocks. Oh, GJ, we're not actually on BatSim or anything today. We're just flying normally. Appreciate it though. Sorry about the issues on Monday, by the way. Rox, I know you were in the chat at the time. That was rough. Figured it out though. Just in case anyone is of any use to anyone, the issue I had was that I did not have HAGS enabled. HAGS stands for Hardware Accelerated Graphics Scheduler. When I briefly had my 4070, one of the issues I was having with it was OBS crashing, aside from the sim crashing, and the OBS forums were like, oh, you must turn off HAGS, don't have that on. That'll cause you loads of problems. So I turned it off, having had it on the entire time with my 3070. And obviously, if you don't know, I sent the 4070 back because the sim was crashing constantly, OBS was crashing constantly. Put the 3070 back in, it's fine. But HAGS remained off because I never thought to put it back on once I put the 3070 back in. So despite the fact OBS says you must leave it off, turning it on completely resolved my problem. So I don't know what to tell you really, other than it now works, despite being told it wouldn't. Appreciate it, GJ. Thank you for the offer. Jaleese, what were you asking? What is the price difference between a 4070 and a 3080 Ti? Do you mean new or used? And I guess the 4070 would have to be new, wouldn't it? At this point in its life cycle. Let's have a look. Okay, that's interesting. One of the main retailers here, Scan, no longer lists the 3080 Ti for sale. Closest I can get is a regular 3080. But 4070s are, what have we got here? 589, 575, a couple more at 589, 598. Then you start getting up into the slightly higher end ones, like the gaming OCs, the one with the bigger coolers, the one that they say are factory overclocked, that sort of thing. They start to go up into the 610s, 620 somethings. Seems the most expensive one is a Gigabyte Thrustmaster 709. I don't get why you would do that though, because if you're going to start spending over £100 beyond what you actually need to spend, and you're almost in another tier of card at that point, so I don't know why you would spend so much. Interestingly, all the 3080s that Scan have are refurbished, with the exception of one. But they start at 549. Oh yeah, I saw that, Rox. I haven't actually watched it yet, though. Well, I saw like the first 2 minutes, and I had to go to bed because I was tired. Yeah. Massive, massive market there, I think. It's almost like VATSIM without the fear of VATSIM. And I think for a lot of people, that might be exactly what they're after. What's beyond ATC? It's a air traffic add-on that's coming out, and you can actually talk to it, and it will then talk back. So almost like a smart speaker, if you think of it in those terms. Wait for a 5000 series. 3090 would do for, yeah, I think a 3090 will do for me. I think you're going to be just fine with the 3090. Just a feeling. That's probably my plan as well, Rox. I'm got a 3070 and a 5600X CPU. So the dilemma is, do I stick with what I got, eke it out for another year or so, and then build an absolute titan of a machine? Or do I do something now? Not entirely sure what's gone on with the time. That seems fundamentally very wrong indeed. Alright, we've got 342 miles to go. But yeah, Paulie, I think Beyond ATC could be really good for a lot of people. I really do. As cool as VATSIM is, it's not for everyone. I mean, I'm only starting to dip my toe in, really. I haven't been at it for a year, just because I felt like I wasn't really ready for the level that they're working at. Maybe I am, maybe I'm just scared, I don't know. I'll give it a go at some point. Yeah, weirdly though, Rox, the last leak I heard was that 5000 series might be delayed until like 2025. Now, whether that was a controlled leak on Nvidia's part to maybe get someone like myself to be like, oh, that's a long time, I'll just buy the 4000 series now. Wouldn't put it past them. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, Nvidia are the masters of this stuff, you know. Still looking around, looks like 3080 Ti's are all gone. I'm having a bit of trouble finding one. I think given the choice I would probably take the 4070 over a 3080 Ti just because of energy usage for one thing. I mean, a 4070 used about 180 watts, kind of all out. So it only actually needs one 8-pin PCIe connector, which is really cool. Whereas 3080 Ti, that would draw a lot of juice. And you might say, why does that matter? Well, here in the UK, electricity is really expensive. Ridiculously expensive. We're okay because we're locked into an old contract, so we're paying quite a low rate. But in October, I believe, that contract expires, which is very sad. Nvidia are more invested into AI, so bread and butter. Yes, it is. Yeah, they are poised to make a lot of money. Considering what a buzzword AI is at the moment, like everything's AI, 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 and it's like, who's actually powering all of that most of the time? Nvidia. But it's not all bad. You know, their AI obsession kind of trickles back down to us, I think, in a lot of ways. Look at DLSS, that's AI. Look at Nvidia Broadcast, I'm using it right now on my mic. If it wasn't on, you'd be hearing my air extraction system, you'd be hearing all the little creaks of my chair, you'd be hearing all the little button presses of the keyboard. But it just AIs all of that away. But it's not all bad that they're into AI. It could stand to help us a lot. It could stand to help gaming in general a lot. I think we were saying last night, imagine if you're playing Diablo 4 or something. You walk up to a character and just start having a chat. The character just starts talking to you. Not scripted, just the AI talking to you based on a pre-programmed backstory that the character has. Perhaps even based on contextual stuff, so depending on what's going on in the game at that moment and the character's background, it will just start nattering away to you. $3090 draws 300 watts. Ouch, just in the menu. Yeah, see, I've got the sim limited to 30 frames a second, which obviously cuts the usage down quite a lot. Alright, how are we looking? We let the passengers out for a bit. What are we at? 290 miles. So we're at flight level 380. And at BR 736. Let's type that in. BR 736. 241 miles. We need to be at 8,000 feet. So we've got to drop 30,000.
Again, to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your seat elbows clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please
107 miles required.
The galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
So we've got a little over 100 miles yet. If an AI can make me a coffee for the morning, I'll be happy. You and me both. Actually, that is a very good idea. My coffee's gone cold. I'm going to go grab another one. Back in 2. Alright, I'm back. Should we do some outside views? We don't often do those, do we? It's the only thing with the outside view, it gets really loud. Whoa, rocks, thank you. First class, let's go. Only the finest service in first class, of course. Thank you very much indeed for that, I do appreciate it. Welcome to the club. I don't know, Rox, it's a pretty rubbish airline, this. Right, how are we doing? 191 miles, and we require 107 miles to descend to where we need to be at that waypoint. So top of descent still is a minute or two off yet. A really good cup of coffee. You know, sometimes you make a cup of coffee and you're like, that is a really good cup of coffee. But what did I do that time to make it so much better than all the others? I don't know. I need one of those bean to cup machines. I think that's the dream. Peak laziness and peak flavour. Thank you to everyone that's paid their airfare of 1 like. 66 total viewers this morning, only 9 likes. That means 57 people did not pay. Still, some would say the stream is worth what you pay for it, so maybe we can't blame them. Cafe Nero flat white. I find lattes and flat whites generally to be a bit much. Like almost like too rich. I struggle to get through a whole one. I'm very much of a in the Americano camp, I think. Give me an Americano that's made with really good beans. That's hard to beat in my book. If I'm being picky, I would have the beans grown at, ideally Colombian beans, grown at about 4,000 feet in altitude. Because the thinness of the air at 4,000 feet is just right, such that it slows the development of the bean, and then you get more of like a nutty kind of flavour profile come through the bean. Go to 5,000, it slows even more, because obviously the air is thinner at 5,000. Then you start to get more of like a floral kind of taste, which I don't particularly go for. So 4,000, that's what I would go for. So yeah, if you can't tell, I am a bit of a coffee snob. I usually make most of my coffee with an AeroPress at home. Love that thing. I think it's a really good, cost-effective way of getting good coffee at home. Like, what are they, like 30 something quid? And it doesn't quite get you to the full coffee shop experience, but 30 quid at home, where you're going to struggle to get full coffee shop experience no matter what you buy, I'd say it's pretty good. I think on the box, there's like a quote from a reviewer that says, if I was a robot, my left arm would be an AeroPress, which always made me laugh. Yeah, highly recommend an AeroPress if you don't have one. I mean, if you've got an espresso machine, then fair enough, you probably don't need one. But you know, a modest grinder with some whole beans and an AeroPress is a strong combination without breaking the bank. How's the poll doing? I bet it's like 50-50. It's always, whenever I do a poll, it's always 50-50. You lot are like the most indecisive bunch ever. Oh no, I take it all back. 787, 59%. 747, 41. That surprises me. That really does surprise me. Thought the 74 would get it. 139 miles now. What did we need? 107, 108. Top of descent coming up. I will say though, Rox, if I am out, Cafe Nero is probably one of the preferred options. I don't get people's obsession with Starbucks. I really don't. Feels like I'm eating ashes or drinking ashes from a bonfire or something. Just so burnt. I'm amazed that even worked as a business, given the taste of the coffee. I would probably go Nero, Costa, Starbucks if I had to kind of rate the big chains. Like if I'm driving across the country or something and I just need a coffee, then yeah, I'll get Starbucks, but I won't be happy about it. I had one of their lighter roasts one time. That wasn't too bad. I guess it's almost like their trademark taste at this point though, so they can't really get rid of it. But I think it tastes very, very different to what any other normal coffee would taste like, so maybe that's why people like it, because they feel like they're going out for their special Starbucks treat, and it tastes like their special Starbucks treat, so that's what they want. Almost like how everything at McDonald's tastes like McDonald's. Doesn't really matter what you buy, there's still that underlying taste of McDonald's. And that is by design, they want everything to taste like McDonald's. Even if you go to like other regions where they have more kind of local cuisine on the menu, it has been kind of designed, flavour profiled to still taste like McDonald's. How are we looking now? Can't be far, right? 115. We need 108. Wants us to enter our destination details as well. So let's do that now. If we're quick, we can do it. So 1007, 260 and 4 and 15. Let's see if I can remember that. 1007. Is it 260 and 4? Oh, I'm going to doubt myself now. I'm going to have to check. 260 and 4, yeah. And 15 degrees on the ground. And 200 in radio, because I can't bother to look at the chart and see what else it should be. Good. And it's time to go down to 8,000. We'll do it at 2,000 feet per minute. That should be well within tolerance of what the plane can do. We've sort of got a crosswind coming at us from the front, so that should hopefully help us as well. I believe speed and managed. Just watching that speed tape.
As we have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good
Slightly conscious that it's creeping up. Oh no, it seems happy now.
Return to your seat. We ask that you remain seated until your aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for right.
Alright, what about the time? 10:24 here, so we're probably going to be descending for 15 minutes to get to 8,000. Probably another further 15 minutes tracking around through the arrival procedures. Are we going to have time to get back? I think we probably should. I mean, if we have a go around, then probably we won't. Oh well, we'll see. I think it should be okay. Oh, hey, Brian. Good morning. How are you? Is that PC behaving itself? Thanks again, Rox, for the membership, by the way. I really do appreciate that. I'll be one of those YouTube millionaires in no time. A total of 3 memberships. What was it they say? From an acorn a tree grows. Ah, the cooling sorted it out. Good, that's good. Yeah, that's a bit of a monster to keep cool, that one, isn't it? 1300. Is it 1300k you've got? I mean, just that chip alone is a lot to keep cool. Never mind the heat that 4090 is going to be dumping into the case as well. Hello, Marco. How are you? Nice to see you. Right, let's just check in on the cockpit. Make sure that speed is staying under control. Yes, it is mostly. Because we're doing a fixed descent rate of 2,000 feet per minute, but leaving the speed into managed. So there is the possibility that, say we had a tailwind, I guess speed could just creep away from us if we maintain 2,000. Good. So what's the weather looking like? 260 and 4. That has changed, hasn't it? Fairly certain that's changed. Oh no, it hasn't. So it will be sort of a crosswind, but at 4 knots, I think. I think we should be good. They got 12.7 KF, nice. Yeah, the F variants are always really good, aren't they? They can get quite good value with them. Because that loses the integrated GPU, doesn't it? If you got the F. So how are you cooling that, Rox? Have you got like an AIO or tower cooler? Yeah, that's true, Brian, actually, isn't it? I guess if you've got a higher ambient starting temperature, yeah, that's going to make a big difference. The electricity is expensive in Spain too, is it? For some reason I thought it was cheap in Spain. Was that France? I'm sure I've heard of somewhere in Europe where they're like, no, it's really cheap. Yeah, I guess you don't want that AC on all the time if it's that expensive. Expensive in Italy too. Yikes. I say we're lucky at the moment. We're locked into an old plan. We like signed up for like a 5-year deal roughly 5 years ago, and that's a really good rate, of course, relative to what it is now, but that's going to end in October, so we're going to be feeling it double time, I imagine. I would put an AC unit in the shed, but just the cost of the electricity kind of bothers me a little bit. Especially given that our rate is set to double, or possibly treble. I did think about, I don't know what you think about this, Rox, given that you seem to know a bit about PCs, by the sound of it. I contemplate, so I'm in a shed in my garden. A very, very well insulated shed, because I converted it during the lockdown. So insulation, got about 100mm of insulation in all the walls, ceiling. I have no windows, just the door. So it gets really, really hot in here when the PC starts going. So I fitted some extraction fans. So I've got one fan that draws air in from the outside to hopefully bring in some cool air. And I've got another fan that draws out hot air. Got that by the PC. But it's still not enough. Not really. So I did wonder about doing a liquid-cooled system, custom loop, but putting the radiators outside of my shed. It wouldn't be outside in the elements, because it's kind of like one big shed that's divided in two, so I've got one half for me, and the other half is just like bikes and barbecues and rubbish that we never need half the time. So I could bore through the wall, run the tubing through the wall, and have the radiator with the fans in the... So basically, hopefully, the other side of the shed, where I'm not, will heat up. The other option is if I move my PC and have it so that it's basically, its exhaust is pointing into the wall, the dividing wall, bore two massive holes through it, and sort of connect some like ducting to the exhaust ports on my PC, and have the PC blow air into the other shed next door to me. I don't know if that's actually going to work in practice. Feels like it could be a fool's errand. Like I spend all the money on all the ducting and the tubing and boring the holes, and then it's like, oh, it's still hot in here. So I don't know. Oh, look at that. Look at that. £0.24 a kilowatt hour. That's not bad. I mean, even on our amazing rate, we're on 19. So that's actually, that's not so bad. Just the thought of it going up to nearly 40 something is what bothers me. I mean, I guess rocks like other stuff in the room would heat the room up. Like, for one, me, like humans are quite good little heaters in their own right, I suppose. Brother-in-law's an aircon engineer. I'm fairly certain he said that a human being is sort of like having a 2 kilowatt heater in a room. In terms of just like the heat that we give off. It seemed quite high though to me. Did seem a bit high. But I've got like my lights, I've got my monitors, like that all generates heat. But if I could reduce the kind of heat wattage being dumped into this room by about 300 watts, then maybe my extraction fans would stand a better chance of keeping me cool. But yeah, you're right, there could be a video there. Not sure what channel to put it on. I've got this channel, and I've kind of got, I mean, this channel I keep exclusively for flight sim, really. Then I've got my other channel, which I'm experimenting with. I've got a couple of videos on it, where I kind of looking to do more PC-based stuff, like hardware, that kind of thing. Might be a video for over there, maybe. Yeah, the rad will be protected from the elements. Like I say, it's if you imagine like an oblong shed, a rectangle shed, put a dividing wall in the middle, so you've got two square sheds next to each other. I'm in one half and all the rubbish is in the other half. Oh, I see. Different rates, different periods of time. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes you wonder if the price is going to go up by enough. Does it change the economics on maybe getting a battery? We've got solars on the roof, but the solars are set up so that anything we don't use gets fed back into the grid, and we get paid like a flat rate on what they deem to be what we're likely to put back into the grid based on how many panels we've got. But if we're really smart, let's say I put the washing machine on at 8 o'clock, then the dishwasher at 10 o'clock, then the tumble dryer at 12 o'clock, and so you're kind of using electricity throughout the day such that the grid doesn't get anything because I'm efficiently making use of it myself, we still get the same amount of money. Ooh, we are well over speed. How's that happened? Too busy talking about the price of electricity. My bad. Right, let's get lights on. Passengers, back in your seats. What's the matter with you? Alright, 8,000 feet. Then next up we've got 7250. That seems like it's going to be a range, isn't it? Yeah, so 6,500. Whoops. Let's change it into hundreds. So are they fully on solar then, Brian? Like batteries and all? There we go. Between 8, above 6.5, below 8, and at 220. Oh, speed brake's still out. My bad. Oh, this looks like it should be quite a pretty approach. Alright, let's take the plane out of manage speed. We'll do it ourselves. Give it a bit more speed brakes. Help with that descent as well. So does that mean they're basically completely off-grid then? For their electricity? Okay, so once we get to here, we've got the same constraints here, so we basically stay put for a little while. Then we've got to be above 4,000, 3,200, and then we'll pick up the ILS. Good. It's not a bad view, is it? It's over the other side. Okay. Got another 2,500 feet to drop. We've got to do that by here, which is what, 10 miles? We've got 20 miles nearly. I think we're going to need all that. The only thing that gives me concern is that a battery pack would have its own lifespan. And a lot of these things, the payoff is in like 10, 15 years. By which point the battery pack would be shot and you have to buy it all over again. That's what bothers me. Alright, 4,000 feet, let's do a managed descent down to there. Hey Nick, you made it. How's it going? You okay? Yeah, I think we're all good, Nick. I think we're all good now, after Monday's issues. Say last night was pretty good. Today's been pretty good. We did have issues on the ground in Stockholm, just because the airport is very, very detailed. My FPS hit the floor, which wasn't ideal. Okay, let's start bringing that speed back to 200. Probably will require speed brakes while we're at it. So above 4,000, above 3,000, 200 knots. Let's get the 200 knots all sorted. This is a very cool approach. So a bit of a chicane coming up, then it's in on final for us. So where's the airport? It's going to be over here somewhere, right? Is that it? I feel like that's maybe going to be it when it actually renders in. A bit far out at the moment. Alright, it's yoke cam time. Still not 100% happy that I'm having to fly left-handed. I feel like I've gotten used to it on the Boeing, sort of this position. When it comes to the bus, with the stick over here, it feels very, very strange. Okie dokie. Got lights on. Do auto brake medium. Arm the speed brakes. This will soon be us. And we go. Get the approach mode on. Get speed down to 180. Those flaps out to full. There we are. Gear down. And let's go. Speed managed. What's it, about 131. Okay, one last check. Speed brakes armed, flaps
2,500.
full, lights on. I'll try, Nick. I will try. go, speed is set. My airplane. Looks like the screens are a bit on the dim side. Bring them up a bit. Oops. Not sure why that just happened. So we get ourselves back on profile. I think when I moved the mouse, I must have moved my hand on the joystick. That's silly. This is an amazing approach, isn't it? Look at this.
$1,000.
Just want to hold it nice and steady on that glide slope. So we need to get over to the right a little bit, being blown just ever so slightly to the left. Holding it about 700 or 800 feet per minute as a descent rate.
500. 400. 300.
A little bit low. Okay though.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Go on. There it is. Needed a bit of right rudder there to sort us out. Okay, we'll get the next one. Definitely feeling lots of right rudder. Alright, where can we get off? Can we get off here? Yeah, definitely lots of right rudder. If I remove the input on the rudder pedals, as in stop touching them, then our nose goes to the left, which tells me that wind is hitting our tail from the left. Okay, let's get landing lights on, APU on. Let's go and find ourselves a gate. Thank you all. Wasn't perfect, a little bit on the late side. We definitely floated a bit there, kind of at the last moment. But yeah, I was definitely happy with that. 129 feet per minute, according to SimToolkit Pro. So nice and gentle, that one. So we'll go and find ourselves a gate, we'll get turned around. And see if we can get back to Stockholm. I'm a little bit conscious that we're going to be tight for time. Just a little bit conscious of that. What are we at now? 5 to 11. At least we won't have such a long taxi this time. And the turnaround typically is a bit quicker than a cold and dark, so I remain hopeful. Hopefully this gate here will fit. That's a very strange American livery. Alright. So APU is on. We should be able to take the engines off now. No, I haven't tried Stansted yet. Must do that. Right, let me just make a flight plan real quick. There we go. Now we've got a flight planned. So let's go over to here. Get the new plan. There we go. That's switched over. That's good. Good. And what fuel do we need? Roughly the same. That's also good. Can we get a jet bridge? Any of this stuff going to work here? Weird. Okay. Let's get ourselves the new flight plan. So, menu, ATSU, AOC, init pres, init data request. There it is. Grab that. Minus 52. We finished boarding yet? Yeah. 0 fuel weight. Confirm the block. Performance. Minus 52. 1/UP01. Let's get our speeds in. I am rushing through this. Apologies if you're attempting to follow along. Just conscious that we need to get moving. We're going to use runway 17. And Goka 2C. Into Stockholm. Runway 26, that's good. I was hoping we'd get that one. And we're going to use out 2H. Happy days. So here's our little route. Let's just step through it real quick. So around we go. Discontinuity here, we'll clear that. Keep going. Yeah, okay, we'll just take manual control there and bring it round. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. So that's good. Let's get rid of baggage. APU bleed on. Everything else is pretty good. Beacon light on. Nav and logo. Seatbelts on. Cool. So let's plan ourselves a pushback. Whoops. Don't want that. I want a free planet. This has got to be like a record turnaround time. There we go. Tell you what, let's push ourselves back to here because I'm a bit concerned about that plane next door to us. Nice. And that is how you turn around a plane really quickly, while probably making several mistakes that will become clear very shortly. Okay, so 6,000 feet is where we're going up to first. Release the parking brake. And away we go. Let's get this engine started. That's good. Tug is gone, parking brake is on. Engines are starting nicely. Let's get our taxi light on. Good, it's armed spoilers, auto brakes max. Check in with the cabin.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Good, engines seem happy. Flaps set to 1. Alright, good. Let's go get ourselves taxied. We turn off the landing system. Is that an ATR over there? I think it is. Still locked at 30. Yes, indeed. I think it makes sense, really. I mean, I would love 60. Don't get me wrong, but I can't reliably hit it, so I'll take a smooth 30 over an inconsistent 60 any day, I think. Alright, 10 past 11. That was a quick turnaround, I was happy with that. Let's engine bleed off, APU off. Of course, engines are started, we don't need any of that anymore. Yeah, I think most of the time I'm limited by my CPU, which is what's preventing me getting to 60 until there comes such a time that I have a CPU that can get us comfortably past that. A lot quieter and cooler. Yeah, it will do. Yeah. Because if you imagine your graphics card has to work at 100% to achieve 60, well, if you lock it at 30, then the GPU only has to work at 50%, using less power, making less heat, running quieter. Alrighty. Lights. Camera. Action. Goody. Right, let's get out there and line up. Alright. Okay, let's hold it on the brakes. Let's go. A little bit of left rudder required. Keep us straight. Let's go. Positive rate. Gear up. What a view. Levers into climb. Let's get the flaps up. Now the map on. See if we can take in these views. What's the next airplane we're going to get? Probably the 777 by PMDG, I would imagine. That's going to be a cool airplane. It's probably not one that will get to fly live an awful lot. But I would like to start making more videos of longer flights on the channel, just as a part of my longer form content strategy, I suppose you could call it. So the plane should start to level off here at 6,000 feet. Very good. I suppose if Aerosoft come out with their A330, we might pick that one up. You lock yours at 35, Brian? Okay. Any reason for the extra 5? You just find it a bit smoother, or? I guess if you've got a variable refresh rate monitor, that's fine, because your monitor can do 35, whereas I've got a 60Hz TV, so I either need to do 60, or something that's divisible into 60, otherwise it would tear. So hence I go for 30 rather than 60. Right, when can we get past 6,000 feet? got quite a little way yet. Yeah, so you limit it in the Nvidia control panel, yeah? Yeah. So do you have a variable refresh display? Like G-Sync or FreeSync, whatever they call it? Get to see the airport maybe out the other side. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yes, it was KW. Yes, it was ILS. We flew it manually. The last kind of, I forget what it was now, 2,000 feet? Oh, you don't? Okay. You don't notice any tearing or anything like that? Okay, let's disarm those. Yeah, that's right enough, KW. I mean, I think my preferred method is I like having the ILS markers as it helps me see roughly where I am relative to the glide slope and things like that. But yeah, I like to fly it as much of it myself as possible. Do I follow a real-life startup procedure for the A320? Honestly, I don't know, because I don't know what a real one would actually look like. I mean, I've studied checklists and things like that. So I kind of do what I do and it works. Would EasyJet approve of it? I don't know. So it looks like, actually, this is an above, isn't it? Above 6,000. There's no reason why we need to stay at 6. We go straight up to, is it 390? If I'm interpreting that correctly, which I think I am. Oh yeah, you probably will be able to, Brian. Yeah. I did that some time ago. I bought a little wireless one. Yeah, I think you'll be okay. I was using mine less for the flight sim, I was using mine for OBS, streaming software. Follow like EasyJet procedures. Also, do you know what SRS means in the manflex and why it gives a percentage? Where is that? Have a look together now if you like. Would that be in Perth? Or in it? Oh, standard pressure. Oh, the SRS is the speed reference system that manages the aircraft's speed by changing pitch during takeoff and go around. In Perth. I suppose we are no longer in so I guess if you were to okay, so it may not engage if you're using flex mode. Yeah, don't be doing that, KW. Don't be doing piracy. The devs who made that stuff deserve to get paid. They work very hard. So, regardless of whether you trust it or not as a safe thing to do for your PC, I think morally and ethically, it's just shouldn't be doing that. Oops. Yeah, I used to get people crack my software all the time that I wrote It's so annoying because you work so hard on it, and then someone just comes along and they're like, yeah, I'll steal that. It's like, great, thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, could well do. Could well do. Because ultimately you don't know what you're downloading, do you? So yeah, by default I would consider it all to be unsafe. Don't do it. Alright, let's let the passengers out. Yeah, that's right, KW, don't be doing it. I mean, it's basically theft, so... Cannot and will not condone that. Yeah, I'm just having a quick look now on that. It says takeoff SRS speed reference system. The SRS mode controls the pitch at takeoff to steer the aircraft along a path in the vertical plan at a speed defined by the SRS guidance law. In SRS mode, the aircraft maintains a speed target equal to V2 plus 10 knots in normal engine configurations. When the FMGS detects an engine failure, the speed target becomes the highest of V2 or current speed, limited by V2 plus 15. The SRS mode engages automatically when the thrust levers are set into the toga or flex MCT detents, when a flex takeoff temperature has been selected. If V2 has been inserted into the MCDU performance page, slats are extended and the aircraft has been on the ground for at least 30 seconds. The mode then disengages automatically at the acceleration altitude. If the flight crew engages another vertical mode, if the flight crew selects a speed while in SRS mode, SRS reverts to OP climb mode, and a triple click or a warning is heard. Or if the TCAS mode engages. The SRS guidance law also includes attitude protection to reduce aircraft nose-up effect during takeoff. Flight path angle protection that ensures a minimum vertical speed of 120 feet per minute, and speed protection, limiting the target speed to V2 plus 15. Cool. Very cool. Cheers, KW. Take it easy. Alright folks, I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. Enjoy the views. Alrighty, we're back. Brian says, can you sort out a small problem? Problems where to position the mouse pointer to connect or disconnect manage mode. Is that left or right click? So for me, you're talking about like speeds and altitude sort of like up here, yeah? So for me, if I want it in non-manage mode, I will hold down my click, my left click, and then I will click down my mouse wheel, and that takes it out of managed. At which point I can then do all this. If I want it back in managed, hold my left click and click right click once, and let go of your left click. I think that's out of the box settings. I don't think I've done anything weird on my end. That's assuming I've understood your question correctly, Brian. That's got to be top of climb nearly. Yeah, not far now. Might be an idea actually to start looking at what the plan is for descent, because we're not going to be at cruise for all that long. Okay. So SAS 101 wants us at 5,000 feet. Oh, that's SA 501, isn't it? Is that a 5? Yes, it is a 5. Alright, SA 501, how many miles? SA 501. It's going to be this one. 244. And it wants us at 5,000 feet. So let's use the old calculator. $39,000. 5,124 miles required. There we are, there's cruise. So 236, and we need 124. So about 100 miles out. Oh my goodness, look at the pole, 50-50. Exactly 50-50. Every time. Every time it's 50-50. You lot need to have a word with yourselves. Become more decisive.
As it begins to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your feet elbows clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating to the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
Keypad get picked up in the settings page? Oh, I don't remember now, Brian. I don't think I actually used it for the views. I know in OBS it did. So, like, that pressing number 1 on the number pad was classed as an entirely different button than the number 1 on my keyboard, my regular keyboard. I don't know. How are you changing views at the moment? I mean, all I'm doing at the moment, I use Alt and a number. So I set these views up, so I got them into the position I wanted them. I'd press Control, Alt, and then a number. And that saves the view. So this view is, I did Control Alt and 7 once I'd got the camera where I wanted it. Then I do Alt and 7 to go to it. So this one's Alt and 6, Alt 7, Alt 8, Alt 9, and what have I got the other way? Alt 5, 4, 3, 2, what's Alt 1? Oh yeah, that's Alt 1. And then Alt 0 is up here. I take your point, it is nice to have a little pad. I should probably use my Stream Deck for this stuff, but I feel like my Stream Deck's already full up of all the different buttons I need for the sim and stuff like that. No Alt, just number. Okay, so you've mapped it in the controls, in the settings. No, that makes sense. Okay, how are we looking? 189 miles to go, 124 required. How's the weather looking? That's the other thing, isn't it? 2:30 and 13. Ooh. Ooh. That's a 30-degree difference. Might have a crosswind yet. 169. So top of descent, I would make it at about 40 miles, which will come around quick. Have a look at the routing. So this is us currently. Keep heading in a straight line, more or less. That's where we need to be at 5,000 feet. Now if we zoom out a touch, there we go. And we'll come around, meet up with this next waypoint, which wants us at 2,500 feet and 200 knots. And we'll slow ourselves down in between these two waypoints. Coming on final. How are the frames looking? That's the other thing. Nice. Holding steady at 30. That's what we want. That's what we want. Right, what's our destination data? Okay. So 1008, 240 and 10. Okay, so the wind has changed a bit. 17. 1008, 240 and 10. Let's do that bit first. 240, 10, 1008. 17 degrees. 200 in radio. We'll be fine. On 48. 20 miles away. Near enough. Yeah, FPS isn't bad. So it was really, really bad on the ground this morning when we left Stockholm. I guess that must be a custom airport that Asobo gave us as part of a world update or something, because it looked wildly different to a lot of the others, and the FPS just hit the floor. It may be that on final it all goes wrong for us here. So we're taking a little bit of a chance on this one. But just like weird things like the jetways wouldn't work. There was no baggage, there was no catering. 10 miles. Okay, let's get stuff programmed in here. 10 miles will go quick. If you don't go there often, it saves to cache. Alright, let's go down. What do you mean by save to cache? You mean it might be better now we're coming back to it, having been there once already?
From the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for our approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
I did see someone mention the other day that they were building a flight sim PC and they put an entire SSD in just as a cache drive. Yeah, so I guess a rolling cache, things get pushed off the end if you don't go there in a while. You have 100 gig for your cache. I'm not sure what mine is actually. I've got a funny feeling I did change it. I can't remember what to now. Okay, speed seems to be maintaining, that's good. I do have a bit of a tailwind. Oh, that's an interesting point, actually, yeah. Clear for an update, or you may get crashed to desktops. I guess it could be trying to pull stuff from cache that is no longer valid. Yeah, that would make a ton of sense. So hopefully we're going to make decent time. What are we at now? 12 o'clock. 26,000 feet. Got another 21,000 feet to go, which at 2,000 feet per minute is roughly a 10, 11 minute descent. Another 10 minutes, that's 20 minutes. Yeah, I should be okay for time. It's going to be close. Like we do not have time for a go around today. So I have to be sort of out the door in about 35 minutes tops. So whatever the landing is, the landing is. And we'll just have to live with it. Speed's looking okay. Seatbelt lights on. I need to make a texture for this coffee cup. Like a little air knot coffee cup. I'll add that to the list. Right, time to start paying attention, isn't it? Transition altitude is 6,000. Do need to be at 250 knots. Let's go into manage descent. It won't be long before we have to get ourselves down to 250. There it goes. So you notice how the plane is now pitching up. So I've got it in managed descent. So the plane is now descending at a much slower rate to ensure that we hit 250 knots at 10,000 feet. Which is good. Give it a bit of speed brakes to help it out, shall we? Then we can start getting back on that descent profile. Let's do lights, 10,000 feet. So the plan is, in case you're wondering, get to 5,000 feet by this waypoint. We're going to carry on this heading, so we'll go into heading select mode. Then there's another waypoint that's just about to reveal itself here. There it is. So it wants us above 2,500 at 200 knots. So we'll just keep going straight and then loop back around to intercept it. 129 feet per minute is what we need to beat. That's what we got going into Bergen. Mind you, last night into Heathrow in the 737 we got like a 97, I think. It was a little bit on the late side, but damn, it was smooth. Just need to combine both of the touchdown zone aiming point and the nice light touch on the landing, but we'll get there. What's the local pressure again? 1008. Let's get 200 knots dialed in. There it goes. Let's get that speed brake away. And we'll keep on getting ourselves down to 2,500. We'll let that do it as a managed descent. Where won't it go? Why won't you go? Okay. Alright, let's get the map off because we are basically here. I think we can all agree on that. Speed brakes are out. So let's go into the DIR menu and ACDAS. Just want to come out a bit further just to avoid cutting that corner on ACDAS. I would prefer it if it sort of went up here and then did the bend, but for whatever reason it doesn't. Maybe there's a reason. Alright, let's do that. Landing system on, auto brake medium.
2,500.
Lights are on. Auto brakes are armed. Hey, Swee. Where's the airport? Sort of around this side, Nick. So we're about to make a... There it is there on the map, look. Alright, it's nearly yoke cam time. Oh yeah. Very beautiful place, Sweet. Very, very nice. I very much approve. Okay, so we're coming in on final now. Start seeing if we can get that speed to drop away. Flaps out. Gear down.
5 minutes, please prepare for landing.
The wind is looking a bit like a headwind, so we need to keep that in mind for how much we flare. Okay, let's just wait to intercept that glide slope. I'm manually at this point. It is. Okay, lights are on, gear is down, flaps are full, speed brakes are armed. And we're looking pretty good here for the landing. Need to get over to the left a touch. Trying to avoid snaking my way down. I'm always very conscious that if I'm not careful I end up snaking. Like left then right, then left then right. Just trying to get it where I can hold it steady. Just trying to keep imagining that centre line extending from the runway. Just trying to keep us on top of it, really.
$1,000.
Feels like we're a little bit on the low side now, actually. Not by much. We can recover it. Is a bit on the breezy side. Definitely a bit on the breezy side.
$500. $400. $300.
Oh, too low.
$200.
That's better. Too high. That's annoying.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 10, 5.
There we go. That was a bit annoying. Went too low, then went too high to try to compensate it. That was a shame, but never mind. Nice and smooth. Just a little bit on the late side there. Not quite as good as Bergen. was annoying because we were doing so well. Just that last little bit. Never mind, live and learn. Live and learn. Now, how's the FPS going to be here? That's the question. Because this is where it all went wrong earlier. Let's get the frames up. Yeah, see already that the GPU's like, nope. Look at all that red. Not liking it, is it already? Barely holding on to 30 FPS. I think the further we go around as well, the worse it's going to get. Because once this terminal starts, yeah, look at this, look. 19, 20. Yes, we had decided to do more of a visual, well, let's say it wasn't properly visual, of course, because we had the ILS markers. Just fancy doing something a bit different, really. Right, let's see if we can park up here with our incredibly bad frame rate. This isn't where we started this morning, slightly different. But yeah, my system does not like this airport at all. This is the default Asoba one, but there must have been like an update where this is clearly handcrafted. And my frame rate is not liking it one bit. Let's get the brakes on. 20 frames a second. Yikes. So APU is available. Let's get the lights off. Should have done that back there. Engines off. And we made it. I say that last landing, give that a 6 out of 10. It was okay. Just annoying that we went low, then I tried to compensate and we went too high, and then I sort of up and then down and up and then down. I should have just held my nerve a little bit and not gone quite so aggressive. The Asobo handcrafted Arlanda scenery is not optimised. No, it would seem not. Did Asobo actually make it themselves, or did they kind of sub it out to someone else? Because I know they've done that sometimes, haven't they? That might be why. It's a lovely looking place, it's just my CPU cannot run it, it seems. Or GPU. But there we go. I am going to have to leave it there, folks. I have to run out the door. Real life must continue. Responsibilities. Grown-up stuff. Yeah, never mind. Thank you all so much anyway for coming. Rox, thank you for becoming a member today. I really appreciate that. You should find a link in the members community bit on YouTube to hop into the Discord if you'd like to do that. I'd love to see you there. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to you all for being here. It means the world, it really does. It's been a great morning of flying. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow night with a little bit of luck. 7 PM UK time. Until then, you will take the very best care of yourselves, and